In the last session, perhaps we understood that mind is like a highway which has three tracks, or the lane number one is just unwanted, unwelcome thought enters into that mind. And we don't have any control over it. Lane number two, where you listen to me as a teacher just for an hour, but you all are teachers. So that knowledge is placed on the lane number two. And that knowledge is realized in the lane number three. So when you forget the lane number two and three, then you are always in stress and in suffering. That is the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem.
Hello?
That is the problem. Now, let me take you to the journey of the lane number one and the two. A simple question I ask you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you now. So
Yes. Yeah. So let us, does anyone say for example, the Sophie
I
comes,
can't hear Girish.
so Sophie comes to you and let her open the mobile phone and connect with the mobile phone, and so that she can listen. I muted her otherwise. So, what is the question? Charlie comes to you and says
I
you.
can't. Okay, I'll listen to the phone. Oh, thank you.
So Charlie comes to you and she says that please start thinking bad about me. When I go tomorrow, when I come to you tomorrow, be angry over me. Does that happen anytime? Does that happen anytime? It never happens. We never say to anyone that you think bad about me, please react to me when I meet you next time, be angry over me. Say bad words against me. Does anyone say it? The answer is no. Then why my mind thinks about it? If you do not think and reflect in this way, nothing is going to happen. You have to think in this way. So then where is the why I think bad about anyone, why I get angry, why I react? It belongs to my mind. It belongs to my mind. It means I'm responsible. And if I'm responsible, then why don't I change? Why don't I change? Why don't I change? So the master says what the master Buddha, taken it, just see the teachings of the Buddha. Buddha says, do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Buddha says, do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken by many people. Do not believe in anything simply because it is found written in your books. Do not believe in anything because authority of your teachers and elders. Do not believe in the tradition because they have been handed down for many generations. So what should we do? We should contemplate, we should think. Even in the Eastern wisdom, you listen to it and then you sit down, you start thinking, okay, let me have this knowledge I received, let me start thinking about it, and the belief pending inquiry is the way of the Eastern wisdom. We get easily carried away by thought, by feeling, and then the mind goes on creating these feelings of badness, feelings of reaction, feelings of anger, feelings of hesitation. Are you clear about it? I started the journey that if anyone until today of your life has come to you and told you that please start thinking bad about me, be angry over me, be upset with me, including your honey. But we have done it. We have not done once, but we have done millions of times. It has become our habit, it has become our personality, it has become our behavior, it has become our attitude. We don't want to change that attitude because it has created such a deep impression in my mind. I have taken for granted that you are bad. And that creates more problem to my life than to the others. So Buddha says, belief pending inquiry. I will inquire, I will find out whether it is true or not. If we do not find out, I do not analyze, I do not contemplate and reflect, I do not apply the knowledge, nothing, no change will happen. Our great master Krishna and another master, you can take Buddha and all the masters, they speak of the same principles: belief, pending inquiry. So normally say I follow Buddha, I follow this guy, I follow that teacher. It will not work. We should not be a blind follower. We should ask this question to our own mind, that why I'm upset with a person, with a situation, with a local, with a time, with an event outside in the world. There is no reason and still I get upset. Nobody told me to get upset, but I get upset. That is the meaning. I'm living unconsciously, I'm living habitually, and I will continue to live habitually like this. There is no chance. There is no chance of the change. These lessons, if you listen to it again, to tell you, I heard one talk. I have all the audio talks of my masters. So one talk I did not understand. So I told my mind, okay, you did not understand, so I will listen 10 times, 10 hours. And ultimately I got the clue. I got it. Your mind has to decide where you want to go. And if the mind is not changing, so what is that? What we have been discussed until now means what? The truth is important. The truth of who am I is the most important. It is not, it is universal, not limited by age, sex, gender, time, place, event, history. Forget all everything. find out that truth which cannot be falsified. That is who we are. And that is what we say, which cannot be falsified is the pure consciousness, is the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. That is what the Eastern wisdom says to us, inspires us to find the truth. You follow the path, start believing, but belief should be pending the inquiry. Don't get carried away by any other false notion except the truth. And that is where we reach to the real self. So the teacher teaches, it invokes the principles, it explains it, but then I have to contemplate and reflect on it. If I do not contemplate and reflect, I told you, lane number one will continue to have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, which will cause you tremendous amount of stress, anxiety, duality, conflict. I need not to change it, I need not to suppress it, I need not to force. I have to switch on to the lane number two. Let me have this knowledge first. So, by contemplation and reflection, if you become clear, lane number one will be weakened so much so that it will not create any sense of stress and suffering. So, we are not talking of the suppression, we are not talking of the control, we are not talking of uh, how to control the wandering mind. I move to the lane number two. So, why the truth is important? Because it makes me free from the ignorance, delusion, misunderstanding. And I have told you the one misunderstanding. No one tells you to think bad about me, but I think bad about you. And we keep on doing it. So, when the pressure of those impressions in the lane number two goes beyond the limit, what is the result? Divorce. And what should be done? Not divorce an individual, divorce your mind. But I'm not ready for it. I don't want to agree. Why I don't want to agree? The lane number one is so deep, it has such an indelible impression in my life that I don't want to change. Are you getting it? I believe that even listening to this, your mind has become lighter and relaxed. Oh, yes, yes, yes. If you say yes. If you say no, how can you say, how dare you say, the others are so bad? I know it happens. It happens to them. So, truth is important because it never changes. It remains as it is in time, in place, in locations, in relations. It is an unchanging reality. It is all pervading. That is what we want to find out. Knowledge will remain knowledge. I know she is Sophie. Anne knows she is Sophie. Charlie knows she is Sophie. John knows she is Sophie. Mead knows she is Sophie. That's a knowledge. Knowledge will not never change. But we superimpose over that knowledge without understanding. Then she is bad or good, and she's good. Long list, which is not required. Another thing that we should understand, Eastern wisdom is a search for that real self or that truth which is existence, cannot be falsified, cannot be destroyed. When our mind starts working, contemplating, and reflecting, okay, my mind is saying he or she is bad or she is bad. I become angry, I get upset. No, I have to find out what is the truth that cannot be destroyed, that cannot be falsified. Your mind will calm down. You need not to stop the wandering mind. The wandering mind will stop by itself. Our way of thinking, the pattern we have been thinking is heavily conditioned by the culture, by the society, by the relations, and that needs to change. What we say about the Eastern wisdom, who wrote, when these principles are written, where it is written does not matter. Whether it is written in the Himalayas or whether it is written in US or in India, it does not matter at all. Who wrote it, it does not matter. It says you have to find out the truth that never changes, that cannot be falsified. By the chance, India became a land, and for the last 6,000 years they have found that understanding. Another point, that those who have realized the real self, their expressions may be different, but the principles are the same. Absolute truth is real self. Real self is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. In one or the other way, everyone, every teacher talks about the same thing. So last time when we did the practice, we understood the three lanes of the highways of the mind. We need not to worry about the lane number one. Unwanted, unwelcome thought comes. We have to pay attention to the lane number two, where the knowledge is placed. You don't worry about the darkness. You are more concerned, where is the switch? Let me switch on. You need not to worry how bad is my honey or anyone's, for the sake of understanding. I have to switch on. I need not to even think how bad or good is my honey. Darkness, you enter into your home in the night and you know where is the switch. You switch on. That is the lane number two. We forget it. And then what happens? The moment you stick to the lane number two, lane number three is the realized state in the mind. That real self is reflected in the mind, and you find, yes, that is how the master explains. How the master explains, one master, having understood this ideas, this knowledge, one master says, Manohi devidham proktam shuddham cha ashuddham eva cha. Mind is of two types, pure and the impure. So you can easily make out the impure mind makes unnecessary claims. You are bad, you are good, you are right, you are wrong. Nobody declared that. So that is the impure mind. So why we say impure mind? So that our mind can easily understand this impure mind is not required in my life. I should not think, speak, and act out of the impure mind. For the sake of understanding. And the pure mind, how the pure mind is attained? By knowledge, by understanding, followed by the practice. By the practice. Ashuddham kama sankalpam, shuddham kama vivarjitam. Ashuddham. So how the mind becomes impure? Go back to the lane number one. Your mind has declared this beer guy is bad or good, even bad or good. You give a label, adjective. Black sweater. Sweater has a name in the shape. Does the black has a shape name? Shape? The black, no color has a shape. Having understood this adjective, ashuddham kama sankalpam, I first relate myself to you based on likes and dislikes, then I create a thinking that you are bad or good. First, I create an emotional baggage, then only you are honey or you are not. But after creating that emotional baggage, I create a preferences of likes and dislikes, and that likes and dislikes continues and it makes the mind impure. This is what the master is saying. What master is saying? Ashuddham kama sankalpam. I project. My mind says I like you, then I project all the thoughts and ideas and action pertaining to the likes. So all those thoughts and ideas projects a happiness with you because like is already present in the mind. Dislike is present in the mind, opposite projection. That makes the mind impure. The impure mind contains the anxiety, duality, conflict, delusion, reaction, anger, upset, stress, all kinds of mental and emotional disorders. So we start living with that ideas and the thoughts with the wrong notion, and then what is the result? The result is suffering. Then it is easy to blame others. I am suffering because of you. No one is responsible for my stress and suffering except my own mind, because my own mind, no one. When your mind is saturated, clear, that no one in the world outside is responsible for my stress and suffering, you are a seeker of Eastern wisdom. Until then, your mind will swing like a pendulum. 1 week, 1 hour in a session, you will say, yes, I have understood. After the session, the mind says, why, honey, why you disturb me? I was attending a lesson. So you started blaming others. I told you before also. No one tells you, please. Next day you say, how bad I am. React to me. Become angry. Who says? My mind says. No one says. Even the mosquito. Forget about others. But we start thinking in that way. So, unless and until the mind says no one is responsible for my stress and suffering, including grief and etc., delusion, anxiety, reaction, mind is 100% clear, you are a seeker and you will definitely succeed. So, in this journey, I am skipping how to become a seeker. We will continue our journey with what this teacher teaches. So I picked up the Gita again. So close your eyes. Let us start our practice. Eyes are closed. Position of the body. You see, where I am giving you the instruction, that is nothing but the knowledge. The thought is a product of knowledge. So when I say close your eyes, that is one piece of knowledge. You follow it. That is lane number 2. So what to do with the lane number 1? Do nothing. Let it continue to have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Don't worry about it. Don't participate into it. Position of the body is comfortable. The moment you change the position of the body, it is the lane number 1 changes the position. Once you are comfortable, why to change? Eyes are closed. And now being comfortable. Now pay attention. Every phrase and instruction is the lane number 2. I'm not there. Think, just know that I'm absent. Lane number 2 is the instructions. Mind moves to the neck joint, knowledge, by awareness. It then experiences sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Lane number 3. Just pay attention. You are now, your mind follows the knowledge, or mind follows the lane number 1, is your choice. That I do not have any control. No one has a control in the world. Whether you think good of me or you think bad of me, no one. Move the mind on the shoulder joints, be there. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Do you see? All the 3 lanes are, you are aware of it. Hip joint, be there. Knowledge. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness is your experience. Even though you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness, you still have the lane number 1. You don't worry about it. So again we go little deeper to make this mind aware of the knowledge by the mantra. So mentally you say Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Meaning, let everyone be happy. So now the lane number 2, where the knowledge is being understood, that the happiness is our essential nature of everyone, of every living species on the earth. All their action, movement, judgment aims at happiness. Lane number 1 aims at more conflict, more stress, more suffering. What are you doing with the lane number 1? You're doing nothing. Let them come. You continue to come. I will continue my journey. Sarve Santu Niramaya. We are replacing. I will tell you. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Meaning, let everyone be in the state of well-being. Everyone is seeking the state of the well-being. Now, how you change the mind? Or I mean to say, how you stick to the lane number 2? That everyone is seeking the state of well-being or happiness. Because I am on the path of the Eastern wisdom, my approach must be different. My approach of peace and happiness should not be directed by the lane number one. Then what happens to? You're always calm. You're not angry, you're not upset, you're not reacting. See that? It is not a big deal. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu means let everyone be blessed. The blessing and the grace should fall upon each and every one. The lane number two is pushing you, no, accept this one. And lane number two says, no, grace and the blessing should fall upon each and every one. The more the knowledge is clear, the lane number two, you are going to weaken it. And it will put you into the state of the calmness. By understanding, by contemplation. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhaved. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhaved. Let none suffer from misery in this world. Let none suffer from any suffering. Why, that is what we have understood today. No one says that you blame me, you complain against me, you react to me, you fight with me, you become a... No one says. Now apply this. Everyone should be free from the suffering. That mind is ready to be a seeker. The seeker never fails. We are still in the lane number two. So when you are still in the lane number two, what happens? You are aware of sensation, comfort and steadiness in the body. You are also aware of the lane number 1 and 2 and 3. How do you know that? You are able to maintain your sensation, comfort and steadiness. It's a lane number 3. And the 2 is constantly aware of it. The 2 is also aware of the lane number 1. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there. So what we say, look at the breath. Look at the breath. That is the knowledge. Are you looking at the breath? Are you aware of it? Do you know the breath goes in and comes out? In and out? Yes, the breath goes in and out. Yes, I see that. So keep on looking, keep on seeing the breath going in and out. No change. So we say no change. And you feel the sensation. So what it means, if there is a change, the lane number 2 interferes. Lane number 2 is purely knowledge. It has no action at all. You are looking at the breath and you know the breath is going in and out. So moment the breath goes in and before it comes out, the lane number 1 interferes. There is no interference. Both lanes are independent. But because I feel it, why I feel it? But I start thinking like this. But why I start thinking? It is habit, instinctive and impulsive nature. My mind has made it clear that this is the way I think and that is right. So what should we do? Just return again to the breath that is going in and out. You feel the sensation of the breath. So every time you the knowledge, no sensation. When I say feel the sensation of the breath, that is also a knowledge. You know the breath is going in and out. In between there is some interference, you feel. It means lane number one overpowers that knowledge and understanding. Overpowers means by forgetfulness, ignorance, misunderstanding, wrong ideas. In order to remain on the lane number two means the knowledge you drop when the breath goes in, you drop the in one. You're counting the breath. When the breath comes out, out one. So just dropping means in a fraction of a second you recognize. You recognize, you means the mind. Recognize in one, out one, in two, out two. Go on counting the breath and check if the counting is sometime what will happen, the counting stops because of lane number one. You forget because of lane number one. You enter into fancies. Why? Lane number one. So you are simply separating. The moment you separate, you are free. Go on counting the breath. Here, just counting the breath. You know the breath is there. You know the breath is moving. You know it is going in. So you count in one. Your breath coming out, out one. Why we are counting? To recognize that I continue to remain aware even if the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there and you are aware of them. So, aware of them does not mean that you get carried away. You are weakening that impact of the impure mind. How long it takes depends on you. Yeah, stop the counting and return again only to the awareness of the breath. What is awareness of the breath? You know the breath is going in and out, there is no change, and you feel the sensation of the breath. It is very clear, it should be very clear to you that if the lane number one interferes, you have to simply switch on to the lane number two without any reaction or anger or hesitation. Oh, I forgot. Let me remember, recall what I'm doing. No, I'm not doing anything. I simply know the breath is going in and out. I feel the sensation of the breath, and then no change. Now leave that. Look at the head and the neck. This is the knowledge. You are looking. You are aware. And what is your experience? Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. This is lane number three. Good and bad experiences both are present in the mind. Knowledge we get through the same mind. Mind moves on the right arm means you know the right arm. From the shoulder to the fingertips, no action is required. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Mind knows the left arm. If I say so, nose means you are aware. Yeah, it goes there. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Highway of the mind. Three lanes are there. They are independent, they are interconnected. The mind knows the chest and the belly in the front. You are there, you experience sensation. That is the knowledge plus experience. Relaxation and stillness. Right leg, sensation, relaxation and stillness. Left leg, sensation, relaxation and stillness. The entire body. You simply know your entire body, you are aware of it. You're not doing anything, and you experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now, when I say now do nothing, you're not doing anything, but lane number one will continue to have thoughts, feeling, images, let it have. You are not doing anything. Lane number two knows, it means you have a knowledge that you are not doing anything. So, what happens? You separate lane one by knowledge. The moment you separate, you weaken the impurity. Result is mindfulness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. Very good. How are you, Sophie?
I'm very good. Thank you, Girish. I had very good meditation.
Very good meditation. Very good. Listen to it again and again. How are you, Charlie?
I'm well. I felt like I was present, but I started to slip away. I was watching, but I was getting further and further and further away.
Yeah, further away in the state of almost kind of an emptiness. That is good. But if we get carried away by the lane number one, I think you all are clear. Then we have Lot of challenges. Wonderful. So, how are you, Anne? And then we will go to meet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
I
I
feel
feel
very
very
good.
good.
Calm,
Calm,
calm
calm
and
and
relaxed.
relaxed.
Except
Except
at
at
the
the
end,
end,
I
I
drifted
drifted
off
off
all of
all
a
of a
sudden.
sudden. Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
it
was
happens. We drift, but lane number two says, I know you drifted, so you come back.
right.
Right. But the lane number two says, no, I don't know what is happening to me, so you are already in the lane number one. Knowing, awareness, experience, whatever you say, that is how the Eastern wisdom starts. So, how are you, me?
What I
I
did
did
was
was
I
I
went to
went to
one of
one of
your
your
other
other
meditations.
meditations. Very
And
good.
in
In
doing
doing
that, I
that, I
discovered
discovered
that
that
my
my
sound
sound
was
was
off
off,
and I
and I
didn't
didn't
know
know
it.
it.
So
So
I
I
got it
got it
turned
turned
back
back
on
on,
and
and
then
then
I
I
finished and
finished and
came
came
back
back
with
with
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Lane number one. That is what happens. The lane number one not only does these smaller issues which we are not aware and we get carried away. It belongs to the computer. It did not belong to any living person. And if it belonged to some living person, then the mind keeps on thinking how bad, how good, and how you see that how easy it is to know it. And to know it means I keep that knowledge all the time. As long as you are in the house, you know 100% that you are in the house. So I know that I am in the day number two, come what may. And if you do it, you are there. No problem, I'm going to send you these. So we are I am peace and happiness. That indicates our true nature. So, this text we have been talking and discussing about the three states. So, today we will go a little deeper into how do I know after I wake up from the sleep that I had a sound sleep? How that thought came into the mind and who is responsible? So we all understand that now you have been understanding that there is a big difference between a normal inquiry that normally the scientists do. They do not know. The object is unknown. And then they begin the inquiry, they know it, the properties and qualities, and ultimately they publish their research paper and they say, yes, we have done it. So, how it is different from the self inquiry? The self inquiry means that I know something about myself. I know that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the thought, I have the pain, I have the headache. But at the same time, I do not know that I am the real self. So we have two types of knowledge. So some confusion is there. Confusion is there, or delusion is there. So we have to apply the power of discernment. We have to filter out what I am not so that we can find we are our real self. That is why the self inquiry is different from the self discovery, or self discovery in the Eastern wisdom is different from the discovery in the world outside. And it has to be done by the intellect. We need not to do any practice. I know you are Stephen, you are Brani, so the way I know means I have separated. can I filter out internally in my mind through the thoughts by understanding. So the moment we filter out what I am not, I'm already in the state of meditation. And that is what we have been talking about: Shreyas, Prayas, rich mind, poor mind, our emotional dependence. So here we are not talking. We are going directly into the self discovery. Our goal is to discover the real self. One thing to understand. Another point, that discovery is not a produce or a production. I think you all are clear. We have to keep in mind, discovery is not a produce or production. We create something in production. We find or know what is already here and now. So here we are, it is already there. Real self is already there. So I have to know it. And the knowing does not demand any action. It is the subjective reality. I'm laying a foundation for that. Now there are two things in knowing. What is that? What I know are many, and who knows is only one. I know all of you. Same way, you know all of them. So, in the process of knowing by the mind, there are always two things: known and the knower, the object and the subject. There are many objects. My eyes is one vision, and I see the light and the wall and the monitor and the camera and you guys. First thing, we have to live into that awareness and attention, and then it becomes a magic here. First thing, clear? Now, when I know that here is Sam, I do not become Sam. I see the Stephen. I do not become Stephen. I see the Brandy. I do not become Brandy. I see the pain and I become the pain. Now we are coming closer. From outside to inside. I see the monitor is here, and it is 100% clear that this monitor is different from me. But I know that I have a pain. I am not able to separate it. I am stressed. Do you see that? When you see your home, you do not become home. When you see your honey, you do not become honey. When you have a pain, you become pain. When you know your anxiety, you become anxiety. No, don't talk to me. I'm upset and I have an anxiety. But that is separate. Do whatever you want to do. The knower and the known are always separate. It's a very clear, laid down understanding that whatever I know, my mind knows, is separate from me. So I know I have a pain is separate from me. I know I have a body is separate from me. It clearly says that I am not the body. Can I live into that awareness? Home, phone, car, gadgets are not me because they are known. They are object. Whatever I know, known, experienced is an object. Am I clear? I am pain, not me. Take care of the pain, but I am not me. I know pleasure or experience pleasure or perceive pleasure, which is an object, is not me. I know pain and suffering are separate from me. Why? Because I am a subject. Same way I know, perceive, and experience the body is not me. I know thoughts of pain, pleasure, craziness, laziness, again is not me. Are you getting it? Principle, same principle, subject and object, known and the knower. So this is one of the most beautiful principle. Now understand, let us go deeper and to understand the exploring the sleep state. Did you sleep last night soundly? Okay, with a big sound. That is sound sleep. So now see, let us explore the sleeping state, direct knowledge in a waking state. Do you remember? There are 4 things in the direct knowledge. The object of knowledge, for example, Sam is an object of knowledge. If I say that I know Sam, so that is a thought. So there is an object in the thought, object is Sam. Then there is a perception. Then there is a thought plus consciousness. Without consciousness, no thought, no perception, no object of knowledge. Are you with me? No worries, even if you are not with me. So who follows 100%? Anyone? So I know you is a thought. There is you in I know you in the thought is an object. So there is a perception, knowing or experiencing. You can use different words: perception, knowledge, experience. And there is I am, is consciousness. Without consciousness, I cannot say I know you. Clear? Have you seen? First, know the memory. Have you seen, or how can I say? You have seen me before. So the moment you see me, you recognize. So what is that cognition? Coming from the memory. Clear? Without memory, you cannot recognize me. So when I see you directly and I say, Brandy, memory is working behind. Am I clear? I'm going a little deeper, step by step. So when I see you directly, but memory is working behind, instantly I say, here is Brandy. We are understanding memory. Memory takes the help of direct perception. Every memory depends on any object that I had seen before or in the past. Right? Little deeper, but not so deep. So I had the memory of the past. That memory with the direct perception helped me to know who is Brandy, who is Stephen, who is Kate, and etc. Now we are concluding. This master is so beautiful. He doesn't beat about the bush. He doesn't talk about the poor, rich mind, etc. He says, no, come directly. You have to be in meditation. So where there is a memory, there is an experience in the past. Then only you can express it. Right? I do not remember, I do not recall what I do not know in the past. Am I clear? Clear? Are you clear? Okay. So now we have to understand when I express that I had a sound sleep, this thought has memory. And if it has a memory, where it is? After I wake up, I say I had a sound sleep. or I had a disturbed sleep. Are you clear? So this thought is a memory in the mind or somewhere. That is why just after wake up, I say I had a sound sleep or I had a disturbed sleep. Clear? Where is the memory? There, wherever there is a memory, there is an experience in the past. Whatever I experience, I may not remember all. So in a waking state, I remember sleep, that I had a sound sleep. So four things have to be there: an object, perception, thought, and consciousness. Clear? That is what I covered. In every experience that we have a thought, we have a perception, we have an object, and we have a consciousness. Consciousness is common. Are you getting it? Are you with me? Yes. Yes. Now, question comes: what is an object in deep sleep? Ask yourself. Look at the way this master goes directly. What is that? So again, I'm reminding you, there are four things in getting a knowledge: object of knowledge, perception, thought, and consciousness. Sound sleep is an object of experience. That is very clear. Huh? What is that object of experience? Do you know in deep sleep that you had a sound sleep? So, what is the object in the mind? That object is ignorance. That is why I say, I do not know if I am sleeping soundly in deep sleep. I do not know I am in deep sleep. Very clear. So, what it means, I do not know, that is ignorance. I do not know is ignorance. It is absence. It is absence of an object. Understand? Remote is there. So I know that remote is there. So know I beforehand. So I had a thought that this is remote. Where is the remote? No, it is not there. So absence. Absence. So absence is an object of experience in deep sleep. Did you understand? Object of thought is ignorance. So what is my knowledge? It is the thought of ignorance plus consciousness. So here comes a beautiful way to understand there is a physical body, there is a subtle body which is known as mind, and there is a causal body where the thought takes place, but I remain ignorant. And that thought that I had a sound sleep is expressed the moment I wake up from the sleep. Why you are in a so hurry? Explain me again. Slowly. There are two things happening in the deep sleep. One is the joy, and other is ignorance. That is why we can say I have a sound sleep, right? It's going above your head, bring it inside your head. When we wake up, we experience I had a sound sleep. That is a thought. And then sound sleep means I have a joy, I have a peace, and I have a happiness. But we did not know anything. Why? Because the object in deep sleep is ignorance. What do I experience? I experience nothing. Absence. It does not mean the thought is not there. That thought is very subtle here. It takes place in the casual body. Whatever is unmanifest does not mean experience is not there. Understand it again. Four things. Remember, object of knowledge. What is the object of knowledge in deep sleep? It is ignorance. I do not know in sleep that I'm sleeping. Right? Who knows this? Consciousness. Consciousness knows it. But that thought does not, we do not recognize that thought that I had a sound sleep. Why? So the master says it is in the causal body. Causal body is subtler than the mind. And the moment I wake up, instantly that thought returns in the waking state that I had a sound sleep. So I am present there, even in deep sleep. That is what the master wants to prove. So when I am present in deep sleep, who am I? I am pure consciousness. So when I live into that state, I am already in the state of meditation. I give you an example. Mother said to the son, "Can you buy butter? Go out." Son says, "Butter is already there in the refrigerator." Where it is? It is in the milk. It is unmanifest. So it is unmanifest in sleep. So he is not telling a lie. We experience when it manifests. So when the mind becomes active, the moment we wake up, we realize I had a sound sleep. That thought was already present in the casual state, and I recognize it. Who recognizes it? Who is this I? That is what the pure consciousness is. So I am pure consciousness. I am peace and happiness. So during sleep, little deeper, thought takes place in the causal body. We do not experience because the mind is absent. I cannot experience anything if the mind is not there. So in deep sleep, mind is sleeping. And so the joy is also experienced in deep sleep that I recognize the moment I wake up. Everyone is standstill. Everyone has understood, do not understood. So there are two objects in the deep sleep. One is joy and other is ignorance. Joy is there, but I'm ignorant about it. What are the objects? Ignorance and joy. So there in the causal body we have a thought of ignorance and ananda. When I wake up, instantly I say I had a sound sleep. It is coming from that causal body where the I experienced it. And who is this I? This I is pure consciousness. That is the real self. One thing more to understand here, that is the reason we have millions and billions of these thoughts as impressions are accumulated or being accumulated every day in the causal body. That causal body is known as the body of ignorance. Ignorance means I do not know. They do not resurface. They have yet to manifest. You're talking to someone and the anger erupts. It is coming from the causal body and manifesting. Huh? We have these experiences. That is why we talk of three bodies. The physical body, mental body is known as the subtle body, and subtler than the subtle body is the causal body. There, the experience of the deep sleep is there. When I wake up, I know I had a sound sleep, and that I means that consciousness is present in the sleep state also. We have to filter out self inquiry. We are confused that if I am the body, if I'm the waking state, if I'm the dream state, or if I'm the sleep state. I'm none of them. I'm not the body, I'm not the man. I am pure consciousness. Mano buddhir ahankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jibhai nacha ghrana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivo. Great Master Shankara writes, there are none of these five elements which makes the body, mind, breath, intellect, ego, no thought. Then who am I? I'm the absolute pure consciousness. It's worth contemplating and reflecting. The moment you wake up in the morning and the mind says, I had a sound sleep, come on, hold on, mind. Why don't you know in the deep sleep? Why you are telling me, why you are passing out this information now in the waking state? The more and more contemplation and reflection will make you clear. Oh, it is. I is present. That I is pure consciousness is present in the deep sleep. Also, the way it is present in dream, the way it is present in waking state. Are we studying? Are we studying very deep now? Casual. Just say I have understood and let us start our for a journey. You will get it. It's not today. So from the new year, we have started a new journey about the mind. Perhaps you might have heard and did the practice where we discussed that it's like we all have big highways here and we have different lanes. Same way, that metaphor really fits into understanding the nature of the mind. So we have a mental highway and we have three lanes. So the lane number one or track number one invites unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. How do I know the lane number one? You are sitting alone and you have a bunch of thoughts, unnecessary, unwanted, about people, about the world, about life, about stress, about unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. So that is the lane number one. And the lane number two, where you are listening to me and putting the knowledge there. And the lane number three is the realization. What is realization? Knowledge is realized. Majority of the time, this knowledge is realized. Can I give an example? Yes. Where are you sitting? At my home. You don't need a thought. You don't need to think that you are sitting at your home and listening to it. Are you paying attention? Yes. You see, knowledge is realized. So when we are clear, what we are clear. When we are 100% clear means the knowledge is realized. What knowledge is realized? Peace and happiness in the lane 3. Knowledge is realized. Peace and happiness is the knowledge in the lane number 3. Then will you attend my sessions? No. Well, then I'm already in peace. I'm already in happiness. Now the next question comes, how many things you have realized? You are married or single, you realized. And a long list. Don't tell me how much bank account you have, how much money you have. You know it. You know it. Where is your house? You know it. But do you know what is the real self? Who am I? So when we answer, who am I? You got bunch of thoughts from the lane number 1. I'm already having a lot of stress, my life is blah, blah, blah. So that is what we discussed before, that lane number 1, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts. And I ask you that same question. You have to think over it again and again whenever you are surrounded by anxiety, stress, duality, and conflict. First thing you have to ask, who sent me the SMS or email or who called me that I should be stressed, angry, upset, reactive to a particular situation, to a particular person? No one sends me the message. And still I get upset. As if I have a birthright. How many of you have a birthright to get upset? We don't think about it. Because the very thinking helps us to understand whether I am worthy of suffering or not. We just get carried away. You have a sense of anxiety or reaction. You say this guy is bad and you reacted it and then we get upset. This is the function of the lane number 1 in our day-to-day life. We don't have a time to think. That is why I told you the Buddha warned. Everyone says this is mindfulness from the Buddha. But Buddha says first understand, then we will practice meditation. So Buddha and many other masters, almost all the masters says, don't blindly believe what I say. Buddha says about himself. Don't believe me because others convince you of my words. Don't believe anything you see, read, or hear from others, whether of authority, religious teachers, or the text. What is the pointer? No blind belief. We have a blind belief about ourselves. You have a blind belief when you say that you are in stress. You are not worthy of suffering. No human being is worthy of suffering. But we claim blindly. Lane number 1. I made it little easy to recognize lane number 1. So what I should do, I should put the knowledge in the lane number 2. How? By listening and learning from the teacher. Until what time? Millions of times. Only 1 million times. And once we put the knowledge, we are separating ourselves from the lane number 1. You keep on driving on the lane number 2 in your life all the time. What is lane number 2? No blind belief. I have to start thinking. My honey is crazy, Everyone's honey is crazy. Let them remain crazy. For example, honey or your friend does not send you the message that whenever I meet you, the moment you start thinking about me, you react. You also become crazy. We don't get that message and still we become. That is why the Buddha says no blind belief. You have to think, you have to analyze, you have to ask a question when you are guided, when you experience the stress, suffering, anxiety, duality, conflict, any negative thought. Now let me find out first. So Buddha says, no, I have told you, I'm teaching you, I'm guiding you, but sit down and think about your life. That who am I? What is the goal of my life? Why he says this? Truth is important. Knowledge does not change. I gave you one example. We all recognize Charlie as a Charlie. No, this is knowledge. Are you getting it? So simple. No, none of us amongst us recognize Charlie by a different name. Simple. So knowledge does not change. And why the knowledge of the truth does not change? The knowledge of the truth cannot be falsified. So our master says, our essential nature is permanent peace and happiness. That is the discovery of Eastern wisdom. We have to follow the path, we have to realize that knowledge. That is where, you see in science, you have to be very clear understanding. I told you 120 years ago, I'm not criticizing science, but the approach of the science is different. 120 years ago, scientists told us that the world outside is the material world, it is made up of the matter, and the matter consists of atoms and molecules. So the science progressive in a relative field, their truth, what the truth was 120 years, it changed. 20 years passed and they said this atom consists of electron, proton and neutron. Another 20 years, 30 years, it changed again. It says no, this electron, proton and neutron are particles, but they also behave like wave. So in science, we say it is a progress in science. What is the progress in science? 120 years ago, the matter did not consist of electron, proton and neutron. It did not consist of waves. Are you getting it, what I'm saying? It still consists of the waves. So what was the problem? Why the scientists did not find 120 years ago? Can you make out? Error in perception. Scientists have corrected that error. That not only they consist of atoms and molecules, electron, proton and neutron, they behave like a wave, they are also an energy. And Einstein discovered matter converts into energy and energy converts into the matter around 50 years ago. So what is the point? Point here is scientific progress is based on removing the error in perception, error in the knowledge. So can I say that 120 years ago the scientists have a wrong perception that this matter consists of only atoms and molecules? The answer is yes. So what the Eastern wisdom does? Eastern wisdom says, first remove the wrong notions from the mind and you become a seeker, then only you can find the real self. We don't want to give any chance. We don't want to give any chance to the mind that if you continue moving on the lane number 1, you will perceive wrongly. You will have a wrong perception. So it is better to take care of the mind first. Let the mind be clear. What is not clear? Mind is impure. Mind is impure. Why it is impure? Now you see how the Buddha and other master answers. Why the mind is pure? The current state of the mind is impure because I feel others are responsible for my suffering. That is impurity. But why I feel that others are suffering? What is impurity? Impurity means I have a desire of seeking peace and happiness from the world outside. What is the world? World of people, of place, of situation. And this is delusion. So I have to understand how the mind works in delusion, how the mind works in attachment, how the mind works in likes and dislikes. And then it gets agitated. Nobody sends me the message. See the logic and understanding and clarity. I am seeking peace and happiness from the others. The Master says that peace and happiness is within me, here and now. Because I do not move to the lane number 2, I made it clear. I continue to get carried away by the lane number 1, which has unwanted, uninvited thoughts, that has an element of delusion, attachment, and detachment that causes the stress and suffering. If I don't move to the lane number 1, I am not worthy of suffering. My friends, we have to think. So when you are thinking lane number 1 to you move to the lane number 2, you are separating it. We already know, we all drive. So sometimes you drive in the lane number 2, sometime on the different lane. So they are independent on the mental highways and they are interconnected also. If you get carried away by the lane number 1, you'll have a problem. So what is this? In my head, I separate the lane number 1 from the lane number 2. The moment you have a separation, that power of separation by the intellect through the thinking and reflecting is known as the power of discernment. Why I said power of discernment? Because the very first qualification to become a seeker is to use the power of discernment. Buddha says, no, don't believe me. Don't believe me, don't trust me because I said it. Because you have read about me, you have heard about me from the others until you think about yourself. This is the power of discernment. We don't want to make a mistake, which the scientists make a mistake, correcting the error of perception. We want to be 100% clear that this mind has to be pure completely. It should act like a transparent mirror. The moment you stand in front of a mirror and the mirror is clean, it shows you your image. It doesn't show you anybody's image. The same way. So the first quality, I told you, the power of discernment. And then our mind remained focused on, who am I? So at present, whatever I know about myself, I have to examine whether that is true or not. I'll give you a simple example. The science says that I'm a man. Do you see I'm a man? So I am 51% man and 49% I have a characteristics at the physical, mental, emotional level of a woman. Only 1% difference is there. So we have 4 women here. They have 50%, 51% feminine. 49% is the man characteristics. I'm not saying science says this. In terms of your DNA structure and condition. That brings the changes in the shape and the form. And then we go on talking, I'm a self-made man. Sometimes women also say that I'm self-made women, self-made. Bring the material that made your body, then you can claim that you are a self-made man. Did you create your own body? So our logical thinking, the moment you think you separate lane number 1 and the 2, the moment you separate, you have a clarity. Oh, these are the notions I have been carrying for so long, that the world is responsible for my stress and suffering. I become very clear about it. So the clarity in the mind removes the confusion and the delusion, and the mind becomes a qualified seeker. When we say that we have to become a qualified seeker, it means the mind has to be a qualified seeker. Look at the way this Eastern wisdom works. It doesn't say believe. No need to believe. You have to follow the path of the knowledge. That is why the master says, Mane manusyanam karanam bandhamokshayo bandhai vishaya sakta muktai nirvishayam mana. And before that, it says that mind, from where I got this idea of a metaphor of lane 1, 2 and 3, there is a verse. It says, Manohi dividham proktam. Manohi dividham proktam, shuddham cha ashuddhamev cha ashuddham kama sankalpam, shuddham kama vivarjitam. So that verse says mind is of 2 types, impure and pure. Then it defines in the another line, the mind becomes pure when it desires for peace and happiness from someone else in the world outside. Why? Because with that desire I project peace and happiness. What is projection? I superimpose. I will get married. That will bring happiness in me. Is any married couple happy? No, I'm just joking. Now, is any single happy? Come on. Single is also expecting something more. Marriage is not a solution to be happy. And then we talk my married life. There is no happiness, whether to be single or to get married. Why? It is outer situation. Peace and happiness are located within me. Then you don't expect peace and happiness from your partner. But you first discover peace and happiness and you start expressing peace and happiness, whether your partner agrees or doesn't agree. Doesn't agree, you are still happy. He or she agrees, you are still happy. Are you getting it? So that kind of independence, that kind of a freedom, our masters are teaching. and guiding. That is the, you can say, that is the way the mindfulness works. You have to hammer your mind again and again. Then only we can realize, why that awakening is too far, because I don't purify my mind. I said, okay, my mind is already pure. I have little bit problem with others. No, there should not be any problem from any situation, any person, any relations in your life. Mind says, I'm calm. No situation can affect me. And the master gives those tools. So mind is impure because of the desire and the projection. Projection. So when there is a projection, what I project happiness in my partner, in my dream, and then I see, what a life being single, so let us get married. So that projection to secure happiness in the others, it starts the struggle from the day one. That is the thought coming from the lane number one. You're going to start fight with my partner. No, I'm not going to start, a fight with your partner. I'm just telling you the fact. This is the fact. But it also doesn't mean that we should not marry. I'm not going there. Projection is the problem. One more thing and then we will do the practice. Does animal mind also project peace and happiness in others? Think of it. No, because their mind is controlled by the nature. Their mind has only the 4 basic instincts of security, of reproduction. Don't say sexual pleasure. Don't say sex. It's only meant for reproduction. Are you clear? Are you not clear? So if you say they are for the pleasure, then
The chimpanzee use sex to bond the group.
yeah, they are associated because of this security. Because of this security, their instinct helps us to remain in a group. So that comes with the security in a herd and the group. But other instinct is the reproduction, third is the food, and the fourth is the sleep. They cannot have a power of discernment because they are controlled by the nature. We have a power of discernment. So animal mind, again I'm comparing. Animal mind, lane number 1. Why lane number 1? And then we will go think of it, why lane number 1? Animal mind. I can think. I will give you another thought before I conclude this topic, and then we will have our session, practical session. Animal mind cannot think of it, and you contemplate and reflect and find out if it is really true or not. Because only the human being amongst all the living species can receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge. And they can bring about a change by receiving and retaining the knowledge and applying that knowledge. I was just watching the Discovery Channel day before yesterday, and they said that in the Indian Ocean, in the spring season perhaps, millions of female turtle, they go on the sand and they lay about 150 eggs. And then they go into an ocean, they forget. They don't wait for the eggs to break up and become the babies. And out of 150, only 1% or 2% remain alive. Then what happens, when the babies come, they break the egg shell and they make a noise, instinctual. It is instinctual. They make a noise so that the other babies are also ready to break the egg, and then they go together into an ocean. So that very learning is instinctive, habitual, mechanical. We can learn and listen consciously. We can receive the knowledge. We can use this knowledge that here are the two options, confusion or peace. I can choose that option. They are doing it mechanically because we can do it consciously so that we can have a greater realization of what the life is. Let us close your eyes and we will start with the practice. Eyes are closed and position of the body, whatever the best position of the body, and check that. Are you comfortable? Can you move in? You are settled in the comfort. How do I know? I know by my intellect. But how I can have an experience of the comfort at the conscious level now, which I was not at all aware before. I was not at all aware before. It was an animal mind. Now it is an intellect. I know consciously. You see that I can receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge. Unless we clearly understand these points, this mindfulness becomes a joke. 1 minute meditation, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Be carefree and being comfortable. We will go together with these two steps. So look at the head and the neck. Are you clear? It's the lane number 2. I believe it is clear. So when I say look at the neck joint, it is you are applying the knowledge, you're living with that knowledge, you are aware of the neck joint. But at the same time, the lane number 1 has a lot of thoughts. Let it be there. Don't you see the lane number 1 and 2 are independent? Let it come, let it go. Don't worry about it. When you have that power of awareness, of discernment, mindfulness will succeed every time. Now you know why it doesn't succeed. So, looking at the neck joint being there, feel and experience sensation, comfort and steadiness. You are not finishing, destroying the lane number 1. You are not participating in that lane. That is what I am saying. Lane number 1, there is a noise coming from outside. The lane number 1 overpowers you. Move the mind on the shoulder joints, being there. Feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. The entire body. You look at the body, you are aware of the body, you feel the body. Can I guide these instructions to any living species? Answer is no. That is our specialty, that is our faculty. We are not using it. Why we are not using it? Lay number one overpowers me. Then I blame and complain. I had a lot of the thoughts during the practice of meditation. That's why I'm not succeeding. And I am simply saying, let it be. Let there be. You continue with the knowledge. Instructions by the teacher is nothing but the knowledge. I am a catalyst. That discernment only you can do it. So the being carefree simply means that lane number one will continue to have the thoughts at the subconscious level, at the conscious level, associated with the feeling and emotion of anxiety. Let it be. Only one thing, you are in a lane number two. Finished. And then you see that no one can break your comfort in being carefree. And then I added another part into it. So lane number two, we strengthen the lane number two. How? By the mantra. It has nothing to do with a cult in dogma and a belief. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. You say in your mind. Why? I want you to trigger your brain because you are learning something new. The words and the phrases and the sound. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. And then think of it. The moment you start thinking, you move to the lane number two. What it means, let everyone be happy. No, but you have to think little more. Oh, why let everyone be happy? Because happiness is their nature. And we have a clear understanding. There is no living species in the planet or the universe who does not want peace. From the mosquito to elephant to the tiger, they are not even conscious because it is inbuilt. It is their essential nature. So it is my essential nature also. Lane number one does not prevents you to believe this. Lane number one, two, three, both, all three are present in your mind. It is your mind. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. 3 times. Sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be healthy. Who doesn't want the state of the well-being? Who does not? Consciously, unconsciously, animals, plants also. Why? Because that well-being is the nature of the real self. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Meaning, let everyone be blessed. Did I born myself? No. I was born before I knew how I will be born? Answer is no. So there is a blessing, there is a grace that we are born as a human being to receive and retain the knowledge, to apply the knowledge, to find our real self. And that is the greatest blessing and the grace. We don't realize it. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukha bhag. Let none suffer from misery in this world. So when I think in this, I move to the lane number 2 from the lane number 1. Otherwise, what happens? I have lot of suffering. What should I do? I react. I keep on thinking about the anger, hesitation, reaction. Nobody sends you the message, and still I'm thinking. So that is why this mantra is evolved. Not one mantra, many mantras have been discovered, validated. Oh, it is because of this reason. So now you see, you will find a sense of relaxation and a calmness because I am seeking that peace and that well-being and that happiness which is within me all the time. You are thinking, which means you are in a lane number 2. Lane number 1 constantly push me, no, it is outside. I am affected by the outside situation, people, things. It is a self-discovery, it is not others' discovery. Others outside, self inside. So because of this, Buddha says it is better in the state of sensation, comfort and steadiness. Let your mind be engaged in the lane number 2. That will produce the result on its own. You need not to worry about the result. So there are many ways of look at the breath. So when you look at the breath, what it means, you know the breath is going in and out. Do you know it? Check it. What do you mean by knowing it? You are aware of the breath going in and out. Thoughts are still coming in the lane number 1 when you are in the lane number 2. But if your mind deliberately wants to make an accident, then who is responsible? I'm just making it clear. Let these thoughts continue to come. You are not participating in them, you are participating in the lane number 2. You know the breath is going in and out, you do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath, and you are feeling the sensation of the breath. I made it so simple. Three-pointed awareness. Three-pointed awareness is knowledge. It is your experience. Now what should I do with the other thought? Do not participate. When you do not participate, you weaken the impact of the thoughts and feeling and the impressions of the lane number 1. That is the only way. You cannot control, you cannot suppress. If you suppress, if you complain, you are giving a fire to the fuel to the fire. My mind still gets carried away. So let us engage your mind in one deeper way. You are already looking at the breath going in and out, feeling the sensation of the breath, and do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. If you change the rate and rhythm of the breath, you know what happens? The lane number 1 does it. Even after listening. Why? Because we start participating. So the 4th point, the moment the breath goes in, count mentally in 1, breath comes out 1, in 2, out 2, in 3, out 3. Go on counting the breath. you are clear, you are consciously participating in counting the breath, even when the lane number 1 constantly brings in the thoughts and feeling in the past and impressions, and let it be there. Don't you see you keep on driving your car and other cars are also running on the highways? Your attention is always on driving your car in a particular lane. Go on counting the breath. So when you recognize that you forget the counting, it is because of the lane number 1. You may not recognize, but now we can recognize because I forgot the counting. When you forget the counting and your mind struggles that, oh, what was the number? Forget about the number. You restart the counting. It's not a competition. So that is how you do not participate in the lane number 1. You participate. You are fully aware, moving with the knowledge in the lane number 2. Now you stop the counting, and the next step is totally passive. You're just aware, you want to know. So you look at the head and the neck and experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. I'm not asking your mind to do anything. What is that? Lane number 3. Again, I make it clear, amply clear, that all the 3 lanes are present on the mental highway. You participate in the lane number 2, you are full of suffering. Participate in the lane number 2 is what the teaching. Lane number 3 is the result. Look at the right arm. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the left arm. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Chest in the belly. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Right leg. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So when you experience in the lane number 3, that weakens the lane number 1. That is the process of meditation or mindfulness. We weaken with rich and deeper experience of the calmness and peace. You cannot struggle with the mind. Once you're 100% clear about this, the progress is faster. Do nothing, remain as you are. In the state of doing nothing, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand. Now you see, that is the knowledge. Your mind goes there. You don't move at this time. I simply said move your mind on the left hand. Be aware. Means you know. Now you do some physical action. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Don't leave anything blindly. Ask yourself what happened. What were the problems and the challenges? Why? That is how we share our experiences. And bring the hands down. First move both your palms on your eyes. Then open the eyes inside. Then know your experiences. Then bring the hands down. We will share our experiences now. Yes, Sophie, how are you?
I am good, Girish. I have a question.
Yes.
So, when you give the instruction, we listen to something that is outside, right?
But it goes inside your mind also.
Yes.
That's how you understand.
When we do the counting this time, it doesn't happen each time, the sound was very loud. And I couldn't get my mind to stay with the counting. I always was going to this loud sound.
Yes, it is again. Lane number 1. So we keep on counting. We miss it, we keep on doing it. We persist patiently. And what happens? Gradually, the lane number 1, you are not participating with it, and you move to the lane number 2, and at present the result is calmness and relaxation. We need not to fight. It is the same mind. How can I fight my right hand with the left hand? Who will win? So that level of awareness should be there. I think I'm making, yes, you can ask those questions. So how are you, John?
Hey Girish, I'm fine. Fairly carefree.
Wonderful. That's good. That's good. Carefree means carefree from the lane number 1. And result is natural. We need not to ask. You're already definitely calm and relaxed. So I told you that we should always be aware that right hand cannot fight with the left hand. No one wins. No, but no, I can make my right hand win. That is what is happening. You are making the lane number 1 win. Meditation, mindfulness is not the fighting and who wins and who wrestles. So how are you, Anne?
I feel fine, but I tried to find sleep for some reason. I don't know why. I think I just was tired. There was the last few weeks. There was something going on which was stressful, and I think that's
Yeah.
it was a kind of reaction to it.
Yes.
Couldn't stay awake.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
You sleep, you relax, but I said only okay part. So now let us understand little deeper that when there are put up hormones, dopamine,
Right.
if we give little more, even if you are too much tired, you won't get to sleep, but you will be relaxed. So many scientists so-called believe and suggested in their research studies when you are actually in the mindfulness state means that you move from the lane number 2 to lane number 3. Many hormones are released and that fatigue is replaced into a relaxation and then you don't need to fall into sleep. That comes later. It comes definitely. How are you, Mead?
Driving in lane number 2.
Good?
I feel much more present and more with myself.
Much more with you. So that is what we need to do in everyday life, in every situation, in every relationship. And when we do that in every relationship, that is a very rough meaning of living in mindfulness. Or we can say living, you might have heard, we Americans use it even without understanding, or just living in a moment. So when people say me and I ask them that, oh, you had a lot of stress? Yes, I have a lot of stress. So are you living in a moment? Then they get more confused. So knowledge, Eastern wisdom is nothing but the knowledge that brings the clarity, that dissolves the confusion. And when the confusion is gone, the delusion is gone, the clarity is there. What kind of clarity? I gave you one clarity. Are you sitting at your home? You say yes. There is 100% clarity. So do you know your real self? Yes. You have 100% clarity. You are living in a moment. You are in a state of meditation. Do you agree, John? John agrees, then everyone should agree. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you.